Hey guys, welcome to On My Shelf. Today I'm talking about two poets who stretched the limit on poetry form. First, I have to say I read poetry every single day. I'm a firm believer in how poetry can help its readers increase their grasp of language and metaphor and the simplicity of life made complex. I love reading poetry, and I recently picked up Multiple Choice by Alejandro Zambra. Zambra is a Latin American poet who pushes the poetry form in a very interesting way. His entire book is structured like a standardized test. I know this sounds weird, but it was really interesting. He has several sections in his book, including a strictly multiple choice portion, a comparison portion, and a portion with short narrative passages and multiple choice questions about those passages. This was probably the most interesting poetry book I've read to date. What his form did for readers is it gave them an opportunity to participate in the meaning of the poems. Poets usually do this anyway. They write a poem, and we have the privilege of interpreting it through our life's lens. But Zambra did this even more intentionally by asking readers questions and giving them choices for how the resulting poem would be structured. I found this fascinating. Zambra is funny, introspective, political, mysterious, and poignant. He writes about family and love and authoritarian living, and at the heart of Multiple Choice, he explores the difference between thinking for ourselves and walking the world as trained, obedient people. I love the creativity of his form, the flow of his narrative passages, and the limitless possibilities he gave me to interpret his poems. It was a poetry book well worth reading. Robin Cost Lewis's poetry debut, Voyage of the Sable Venus, and other poems, won the National Book Award for Poetry. Her book is a meditation on the Black female and was riveting and beautiful in its own way. Lewis bookended her title poem with autobiographical poems that examined what it was like living in a world as a Black female. Her middle section was a log of titles of artwork from ancient times to the present time that featured or commented on the Black female. She used those titles to craft a long, drawn-out collection of free verse poems that included lines like Black female holding a bowl, Black female kneeling by a master, and many others. It was an interesting look at the way the Black female has been portrayed in historical times up to the present. Lewis explores stereotypes, the construction of our histories and ourselves, and the impact of art on race and relationships. Voyage of the Sable Venus was a beautiful offering to the world of poetry. I hope you enjoyed these book recommendations. Be sure to visit racheltolson.com to see some of my best book recommendations and to get a free book from my own starter library. If you have any books you recently read that you think I'd enjoy, leave them in the comments and I'll add them to my list. For more On My Shelf, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.